And we're back.
We're back. And we're going to be here with, we're going to find out how Mr. Yogi got his gift and stuff like that. So everybody, welcome, Mr. Yogi.
Mr. Yogi, great to have you here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Now we've got the crystal ball there. We've got some tarot cards. We've got the hand. It's those are very exciting to see all that stuff, Mr. Yogi. So I'm not sure where to begin. You've interviewed Mr. Yogi before, haven't you?
No.
Oh, you haven't?
Oh. Not,
Okay.
what are you trying to slight me there?
No, I'm just trying to. I'm not sure where to begin. Mr.
Well,
Yogi
we can ask him,
today.
well, how did he get your gift, right?
The gift itself is ancestral. It comes from my grandmother's side of the family. And with being Italian and being very religious, there's a lot of things through this spiritual psychic world that the Italians don't accept or embrace. So when I was a small child of 7 years old, I was constantly with fever, sick, and nobody knew why I was getting these fevers. What was happening is, at the time, my chakra centers were starting to light up at a very young age. The highest fever I had was 105, and then that's the evening that my spirit left my body, and I found myself looking at myself from the top of the roof, looking down into my body. And what I remember from that experience is my Nona, my grandmother, coming and telling me, breathe. If you breathe very carefully, your spirit and your body will reconnect. And as I felt her touching my forehead and stroking my forehead, I felt myself come back together. What happened at that moment was a lot of firecrackers, a lot of stars. I was seeing starburst, colors, auras, energies as I was coming back. And then once I did come back into my body, year after year, my dreams would start to mean something. My grandparents would tell me, you must write that down. What do you see when you go to school? So you have to realize a little boy of 8 years old is looking at other kids with fire on their head, orange in their shirt. I was seeing the chakra colors and I didn't know. So I was petrified, and I'd come home and say, these kids their heads were of a color of orange or green and blue, or I would see the auras around them. And that was, for a child, very scary at the time.
Now, were you in Italy then, or were you in Canada by that point?
We were in Canada by that point. I came to Canada when I was a year old.
Okay.
From Milan.
Did your grandmother came too?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. And you said so. Her side of the family had this gift.
Yes.
She obviously had some experience with that. She gave you exactly the right.
She had the psychic ability, but her ability was only through dreams, interpreting, or, when you take the tea and put it loose tea and turn the cup over, and she would read the images. But I think she wanted to pursue it, but because of her strict Catholic background, didn't want to pursue it.
I mean, that's a whole big issue in a sense too, because if you're like people who are strong Christians, they tend to be a little bit afraid of the kind of psychic.
The world's changed a lot since that time, and you have to realize what a lot of people going to yoga, going to meditation, a lot of people know they have a psychic ability. Face it, everybody has the ability, but how do you tap into it? How do you get to where you want to get? Do you have the time to put 8 hours a day into doing or searching for your psychic ability?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you don't have to do 8 hours, but you could do an hour a day, half an hour. You do what you can, and you'll see it improving week by week, day by day.
All right. So when a lot of people say they go to school to learn to do what you do, but that's not something that you can go to school for, right? You have to.
The thing is, you can enhance what you have. And there's something called a parapsychology course. And if you do a parapsychology course, if you study the zodiac, the planets, if you start to go with your feelings, like if you touch something like a piece of crystal or amethyst, does it vibrate? Do you see colors? if you see things in the ball, or if there's energy, or if you feel your ears starting to feel really hot or your chest beating, there's something that's telling you you have the power. You have the connection with the ball. You have the connection with the crystals. You'll know because you'll feel the energy. In English, you'll feel heat on your ears, your fingertips, and you'll feel heart palpitations. You'll feel electricity running through your toes or your feet.
Okay, well, I want to get right down to the things.
Okay.
Okay.
Delve into it.
Now, I know, Mr. Yogi, so you consult with people
I do.
on personal issues or whatever.
I do.
But is it okay if I ask you some kind of macro questions?
Go ahead.
Because here we are, it's the U.S. election is coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and lots of crazy stuff going down there. Very heated debate. I mean, it's just so polarized, the whole conversation about it. But I mean, do you see any? Do you know what's going to happen, or do you see anything that we can?
At this point, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
But if you ask me what I saw today or in meditation, at this point, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't really follow American politics.
Okay.
I'm a Canadian.
Yeah.
But, a lot of my clients are going crazy because they have businesses in U.S. They go to the U.S. They travel to the U.S. The borders are closed. It's complete chaos because of the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ask me today, who's going to win? It's 50-50. If you ask me who I like, I don't like any of them because who's the lesser evil? You're both the same.
Exactly. Plus, if you say who you like, then you lose half your friends.
True. True.
Okay, well, then you mentioned the COVID, the coronavirus thing, and this is a big concern of mine too, as well. And now it just seems, the numbers seem to be increasing now. The government is taking steps, at least here in Canada, to kind of lock things down again. And I'm frankly more concerned about what the government is doing than the virus itself.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, do you see anything about what's going on with this? Is there some? I don't know. I don't want to put any thoughts in your mind, but what are your general? What do you see having to do with the coronavirus, the lockdowns, all that?
Well,
stuff?
the thing is, it's not all doom and gloom. If we follow the rules, number one, safe distancing. Wear your mask. If you notice, I came in with a mask this morning. I do wear the mask. Wash my hands frequently. And the thing is, if you're going to go to a place where there's 200 people drinking beer or there's a beach party, you're asking for it. Mm-hmm. Be safe. Mm-hmm. It's basically the same situation with when we had SARS. We were, that wasn't that long ago, and we lived through it, but we had to be safe. So safety first.
Well, the SARS thing, that was a big deal, and Toronto was like the epicenter of it, and it was. But at the time, I there was no lockdown. People, my life was unaffected by it, and pretty much business as usual. But it just seems that the steps the government is taking, the businesses that they're closing down.
Here's what's scary. They're comparing it to the plague of the 18th century, the Spanish flu. Yeah. At that time, they didn't know what it was, and it did kill a lot of people. But we have the knowledge, and we have the wisdom to stay away from people. You're getting this from people. You're not getting it off a cup, off a toilet seat. You're getting this from human contact. And if you know that, these people might not even know that they're carrying it. So what do? Be safe. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and stay home.
Good advice.
So you don't think there's some secret agenda behind all this, what's going on a global scale?
As I said earlier, I don't follow American politics. The propaganda that you see in the media, is just that a lot of times. It's propaganda to make us paranoid. It's, someone told me the other day, they want to make this big paranoia because Donald Trump says he's going to have a vaccine and we're going to have to buy it from the States. Could that be part of the issue here? We don't know. I don't know that. This is hearsay. and it's circumstantial evidence. Like, you don't have the proof. These are just things people are saying. When people are scared, they're going to say a lot of different things. So I just say, keep calm, be safe, and, you've got to watch your kids. Like, if you're scared of school and if you think it's into school, keep your kids home. Learn on the computer. You can do that. Learn from home. Be homeschooled.
And watch Caribbean Liquid Lunch.
That's it. Now, a lot of people say that, they're afraid to go to psychics, and a lot of the churches and everything say, oh, you know what, you shouldn't go there. But you guys go to church. You go to church and believe in God too. So what's your take, when you tell people that?
Well, first of all, I'm Catholic, and I've known I've had this gift since childhood. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. It's not for everyone. There are critics. People don't like having their cards read. They don't want you to be, as they would say, a seer, or they don't want you to predict anything because it's almost godlike. And in some forms, there is a higher power out there, the universe. And of course, I believe very strongly in God, in Jesus Christ. And if God's giving me this gift, I want to share it. But you have to understand, if it's for you, be my guest. Come and see me, talk to me. But even if you're skeptical, I'll see you as well, because there might be something you don't understand, and I could explain it to you. So all is welcome. And I accept all religion.
Yeah, but what's funny though, Mr. Yogi, is that people will go to church to see prophets.
Yes.
But you're a prophet also, in a way, right?
The thing is, I don't market myself as that. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, if somebody asks me a question, if they say, well, what do you think about certain angels? What do you think about certain saints? Mm-hmm. What about Gabriel, Raphael, Ariel? What about the angels that protect? What about Saint Anthony? Yes, those things are there for us to pray to protect. Do I accept the Lord Jesus Christ as my Savior? I do. But the situation is, I'm not judging anyone's religion. Right. I accept all religions. But I know it's okay, being who I am and believing in the church and believing in God. It is okay for me to have this gift and use it.
What do you got to say, Hugh?
Well, I'm thinking about it. I mean, it's just interesting because we had yesterday on the show, we had Cocaine. Mm-hmm. That's his name, Mr. Yogi, and he was a hip hop.
He's a hip hop
artist, and he was such a really genuine soul. When we got to
from the heart.
Yeah, yes. Totally from the heart on the show. And I kind of asked him about the whole COVID thing, right? And he said that, well, what he said it was like biblical. In other words, it's like, it's like the the beginning,
like the great flood
of the it's like it's the tribulation or revelation, and so that's why I asked you that.
And as you've heard before, this too shall pass.
You think?
It will.
Then what's going to happen?
Well, the thing is, it's sad to say that we've already lost a lot of people from COVID. A lot of friends have it, and we pray for them, and we hope that, they'll be smart enough to basically try to self-quarantine, be safe. And, if you do have this virus, stay home. Yeah. Stay home. You'll heal at home. You don't have to go to the emergency room because they won't do anything for you. What they do at the emergency room, you can do at home. They'll give you Tylenol for the fever and self-isolation. You could do that in your own house. Why take a chance to infect anyone else?
Right. Well, I've got a special machine. I know it sounds crazy, but I build these machines, and they actually, I would use it on coronavirus if I had to, because I've had great success with it. But that's a whole other story. Now I've got your card here, Mr. Yogi, and it says psychic readings, professional astrology, feng shui.
Feng shui.
Feng shui?
Right. I knew I was saying it wrong. Palmistry Tarot, advice on love, business, personal, guaranteed results. So that's a lot of different things. I mean, and for business and personal too, like who's your like ideal client or your
So you're
best,
asking who's the demographic?
well, yeah, I mean, yeah,
Everyone.
who's really going to benefit from coming to see you?
People who can't make a decision on their own, people who basically have trouble sleeping, people who don't have any friends they want to talk to about a personal problem. And when you do come and see me, it's private, confidential, is between the both of us. And, you know, if you ask, how could going to someone like me benefit the problem? Because a lot of times the cards will give answers, the numerology, the numbers of things will give answers. And a lot of times just basically trying to open the energies. Like a person might not be thinking right. The chakra energy might be closed or off. They might be closed spiritually, or hating to say this, a lot of people do have depression and don't know that they have it. So those people need to go to CAMH. They need people that need to help them with that. So if you say, okay, somebody comes to you, they're suffering with a mental illness, or how do I know that? Or how, if I do see that, I recommend them to the Toronto General or to CAMH, or if they're young, sick kids. Because the thing is, a lot of people are scared or afraid to ask for help-wise when it comes to mental health. They're ashamed. Yeah. And there's nothing to be ashamed of.
And you would tell people if it's not a spiritual problem,
Exactly,
that it's a medical, or it's a you know, to tell people, listen, I think you're a little bit on the crazy side. You got to go see something. And sometimes some people won't accept it.
I'll give you an example. If somebody comes to me and says, look, I'm constantly dreaming of the number 9, or I'm having the same dream over and over again. I'm walking through clouds, or I'm walking through darkness. We'll look at that. But if somebody comes to me and says, you know, I've been hearing voices all day, and I believe that I am the Holy Mother, well, then we need to get a second opinion. You know, you need to see someone that's going to help you.
You have that problem, you?
So the question you're asking me is, do I know crazy?
Well, actually, DBoss and I we took a trip over to Dollarama the other day, and we saw a couple of crazy people on the way over there. And it seems to me, at least, you know, throughout this pandemic thing, you know, it just seems to be more people
just losing it.
Yeah. And now
it's called cabin fever. A lot of people.
I'm not sure some of these people have cabins.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. Their usual hangouts aren't there anymore. Their friends aren't there anymore. You know, I'll be honest with you, a lot of homeless people have the hangouts they go to, or they would go under the viaduct, or they'd go under Lakeshore, under the bridges. And the city of Toronto's removed all of that because it's not safe for COVID.
Yeah, but now they're camping out in the parks. Like, I go home every night, and there's one park over by Regent Park, and it's like just filled.
Well, that's a question for our friend Doug Ford.
Yeah, Doug Ford or John Tory.
Or John Tory.
Or Mr. Justin as well.
Yes.
I mean, it just, you know, you would think that we would be able to at least put a roof over everybody's head in this country, because, I mean, it gets pretty cold out there in the winter.
So, but you know, then the other people go to you to find love too, which is love matters, or get over a love, or find out if that person was to be with them or not. You know,
sometimes
those are frequent questions that probably people come and ask. Right?
For instance, if somebody shuffles the cards, the tarot, and if I see that they're doing the same thing over and over again, if you're going to be going to the movie every night alone, you're not going to meet anybody there. So the cards might say you need to switch something around. New people, new places, new things. Some people might just be shy because they've got used to the internet, and they forgot how to go have a coffee and talk to me face to face, rather than looking at the machine and texting and, you know, a lot of the things I don't understand today is how do you find love on the internet? Because everyone on the internet isn't who they claim to be. You know,
That's a good That's a good one.
That's usually the case.
That's usually the case.
They don't look that way.
You don't find out until it's too late.
You've been talking to that person for so long, and you don't even know. Oh, that's not you.
But it doesn't work out because you can lie on the internet, but then when you finally do get together, you know
My answer is people get caught up in old habits.
Yeah.
They don't want to try new things. They don't want to, put the phone down and maybe, go meet somebody. Well, not because of COVID right now, no. But once this is all over, there's people that need to get out there and go places. You could find the right woman in the bowling alley. You could find the right person, at the supermarket. You got to put yourself out there and be friendly, smile.
Yeah. That's not so easy now with the COVID lockdown, right? You can't go places. And I saw some funny poster. It was like everything that you do, every activity in human life now is done with a person sitting at a computer, whether it's shopping, dating, having a meeting, doing your work, everything's like in front of the computer. And is that the life we really want?
That's more for the millennials. I'm old school.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Here's the situation. When you know that there are people out there, don't lock yourself in the room with the phone or the computer. You've got to get out there. You have to move, read. You have to see where, people have to go to where there's concerts, picnics, parties. And I'm talking prior to the COVID. Mm-hmm. The COVID's only been here like 9 months. I've been doing this a long time. Mm-hmm. And from my findings, what I see through a lot of people is they've become lazy. They've become lazy.
Yeah. So, and we don't have a lot of time left, Mr. Yogi, but I do want to ask you, do you see us coming out of this COVID situation?
I promise you we will.
Woo!
Any ideas on a timeline?
9 months.
No, 9 months.
9 months. Woo!
Okay.
It's going to take a little time.
It's not bad, but as long as we can, I can live with 9 months.
If we all stick together and follow the rules, we'll get out of it. We will.
So you can tell us, where can people find you at if they do want to seek your services and stuff? I
am located at 2497 Dufferin Street in Toronto, and you could reach me at 416-543-8613.
8613. And can you do work over the internet, like say on webcam or via phone or something like that?
I don't do that. The internet's a great thing, but to be totally honest, I'm not going to get the vibration over the phone. Okay. I'm not going to get the vibration from a picture on a computer. Mm-hmm. I need flesh and blood walking into my studio, being in front of me, and I need their hand. I need their energy and their aura walking into my place, and then I will read you like a book.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. So people in Toronto, of course, and anybody else watching from anywhere in the Caribbean or in the U.S., around the world, don't forget when you come to Toronto, you can come and see
Mr. Yogi. Mr. Yogi, do want to thank you.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
It's been fun. Wow. It's been fun hanging out and just having a great conversation with you this morning. So thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. And everybody, we'll be right back with Talk It Out with Chill and DJ Despair.
Exactly.
And Victory.
Here come the